Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And it seems like we've got even more exciting news to cover when it comes to World of Warcraft. It seems like it was just yesterday, 11.0.5 dropped. We had a ton of content and class reworks and a bunch of bugs and mount controversies that came out with that one specifically. But it seems like things are winding down. They've been receptive to feedback. They're responding and correcting and making 11.0.5 a much more awesome experience at this point. But now 11.0.7 is on the horizon. The PTR for it is going up on October 31st. If you're interested in testing it, this new patch is going to feature a new zone. And when I watched the video, the zone does feel a lot like the Forbidden Reach or Mechagon or Nazjatar. It feels like that type of patch with the same type of content systems. So I am very curious to see what they're going to do this time around as far as a spin on it. It looks like this time we're going to be getting a ring that we can add sockets to in order to gain power. And they're introducing some really cool looking mounts that were lingering in the files for a while and nobody really knew when they were going to be available. And I saw a lot of excitement in the comments surrounding those mounts specifically. Now, one of my main points of feedback is coming from Forbidden Reach for Dragonflight is that the island felt very small. It didn't really feel that sizable, and it felt very difficult to find world PvP on specifically. And I don't know if that was necessarily just due to quest density. There was maybe like 1 or 2 world quests that would appear during the Forbidden Reach and Dragonflight, and it was very difficult to actually find players on that island specifically. So for me, at least personally, I would hopefully like to see more quest density so that it's actually a viable option to engage with on world PvP. I think they had to like lower the number of weekly sparks that you got from the zone because it was so hard to find players on that island. They either need to do that proactively so that the weekly quest is completable, or look to add as much density as possible, because the island actually looked really cool. They took like a Midwestern USA kind of look to it with train tracks and cliffs and stuff like that. I'm sure we could get some like Roadrunner style world PvP going on this island, assuming that the rewards are incentivizing enough and there's enough quest density in order to populate that type of gameplay. And that's something that I would really like to see for the zone. That's like my favorite part when they introduce a new zone, is to try and explore what can go on with it. I had a lot of fun in Dragonflight when they opened the tunnel going down to the underground, and I just sat in the tunnel shooting people off their mounts and killing them as they were trying to fly through the tunnel. So I'm really interested to see what the layout looks like, the quest density looks like, in order to kind of see this zone really fleshed out and meet its potential for world PvP. I do anticipate it's going to have kind of box delivery that we've seen in the rest of the game. Hopefully they're a little bit higher off the ground this time, so we have more time to get to the boxes specifically. But this really came as a surprise to see this coming out so soon and so suddenly, and it likely means that there are going to be class changes coming out with it as well. And considering it's on PTR on October 31st, how many weeks is that away? Because I've seen, in the past, historically, when a patch goes on a PTR, it means it's pretty soon to coming out. So I really wonder how soon this is going to be and what it means for class changes leading up to it. We just got a huge round of changes. If you want to see my thoughts on those specifically, I'll have a link in the video at the end of this one. But with those specifically, are they going to do more, or is it now like all hands on deck for 11.0.7, considering they've got the Mythic Plus tournament and finals coming up, as well as the Arena World Championship arenas finals coming up? I would think that they are going to still do likely some adjustments, but maybe not, because I've also seen some competitive players, they've got their complaints as well, that if they're constantly changing things so frequently that they have to constantly relearn classes just before the finals of the event or something like that. So who really knows in that regard? But if you want to make sure that you're staying up to date, then make sure to smash the subscribe button, because I'll be relaying that information to you as I see it as soon as possible. This isn't the only thing, though, that got announced. There's a very exciting feature that a lot of players really want to be getting back into that is going to be coming forward for us, which is Plunderstorm. Plunderstorm is making its return. This Battle Royale inspired event comes back for a limited time early in 2025. Now it's vague but specific. So what does that mean? Like the first 3 months of 2025 is going to be in the last third of it? Like, are they just trying to get us excited for it? I was really hoping, honestly, it was going to be in a new zone, but it doesn't look like it. Kegleg returns to pillage the Arathi Highlands, so it's going to be in the same zone. Join the crew, fight to be the last pirate standing, and grab all the plunder you can to get your hands on loot from the new plunder store, including new and returning transmogs and mounts. So it looks like if you did miss something from the previous Plunderstorm, you're likely going to be able to still get it, as well as some new items as well. And they say plunder store. So I think last time we had like a renown track to level through and you had to spend a lot of time grinding through that. Maybe it's going to be more specific. You can pick which part of it you want to go after. Maybe the renown track isn't getting updated from 40 to 80. It's just going to be 1 to 40 for anyone that's new, and the Plunderstorm will be this extra layer on top of it where you would earn currency. Now, I do know there was a lot of people that got upset about Plunderstorm, specifically PvEers that did not want to participate in PvP, and I can remember that you could tell if it was a PvE player in Plunderstorm, because as soon as they encountered another player, they would just run into the storm and Sudoku at that point in order to not have to PvP at all. So there was a lot of people that got upset, at least from the PvE standpoint. From a PvP standpoint, though, I think a lot of people were excited for it. I think the fact that it was limited time as well made it more enjoyable, because people couldn't immediately solve the game, right? So a lot of games now, we see the frustrations come once they've been solved, and there's a meta and everybody's like BIS, and you get frustrated when you don't get the right items or the right build, and you feel like you're going to be impeded because of it. But because it was limited time, people didn't really have the ability to completely min-max 100% and really kind of like, you know, sweat out the fun of the game mode just because it was limited time. So I'm actually kind of in favor of it being limited time like this. Obviously, it being limited time is also, you know, the marketing standpoint to try and intrigue people to fear of missing out, to try and get in on that as soon as possible. I wonder if they're going to take any new approaches to it as far as making it possibly free to play, because last time you required a World of Warcraft subscription. I think the biggest thing that's holding World of Warcraft back is not having more free to play type of content that can lead players into subscribing potentially into the future. And this could be something that could do that, because I think for a lot of players that are external to WoW and external to Plunderstorm, it's like when they're looking at battle royales, it's like these ones are free, they're well established, and they've got big communities. Do I want to subscribe in order to access this one? Is that really worth my money? Is probably the questions that they are asking themselves. So I'm curious to see if they've made any improvements or adjustments in that regard to make the experience for it a second time even better. But I do know for a lot of people, they are very, very, very excited for it. We're going to be going into the details of the Kirin Tor as well, and their fate after Dalaran's fall, which is very exciting, because we kind of just exploded Dalaran all over the place, and then what happened? Where are they going to go? Where are they going to make a new Dalaran, a new flying castle? Very excited to see how that continues. And then the prologue will continue for 11.1.1. 11.1. That's too many ones, okay? 1101, I don't know. But that story will be continuing moving forward. And the turbulent time ways will be continuing as well. You'll be able to explore time walking dungeons from past experiences each week. So more time walking content, as well as a mount that is coming for it with the timely Buzz Bee sky riding mount. And they are adding additional cosmetics to human and Kultiran. You are going to be able to have new ear customizations. So if you wanted to be, you know, an Arathi human or Kultiran Arathi, and kind of get that experience going on like Tyrellian's son, you're going to be able to have that customization. So customization options, new mounts, new transmogs, kind of the same theme as Forbidden Reach. Plunderstorm is coming back into the mix, and it seems like it's just content when it comes to World of Warcraft. You can never have too much content. So I hope you guys enjoyed this update and everything that's going on here with these initial kind of announcements for 11.0.7, and thank you very much for watching the video. I will see you in the next one.